A new roguelite released, and I'm there. The newly released Have a Nice Death is a 2D side-scrolling action roguelite, which has a very noir, dark, gritty, hand-drawn art style, and it looks really nice and it plays very nice. But we're gonna get into this as we continue on with this little preview review. It's in early access, so the game is not completed, but it certainly has a long path to follow throughout the game. You could say that the game is not complete, but it certainly has its finish and hopefully its ending. I'll be honest here, I have not completed the last boss. I have gone through 2 of the maybe 5 or 6 different worlds there are. But I'm not gonna drag this on. Let's get into the specifics here, and let's start with the, let's say, story, the background story, as it is in most of the roguelites. You are Death, the Death, like, you know, on a pale horse, and on him sat Death, like that Death. And after a few after a few millennia of taking people's souls, you got tired of that job. So you did what anyone in management position would do. Delegated your work to a few minions instead. Yes, of course you would. It came at a cost, though, and that cost is paperwork. And a few centuries, or millennia again, of that reduced your tall, dark, imposing body into something a little bit smaller. Now you are tired of your minions creating too much paperwork, as I understand it, or they might just be slacking off. I'm not 100% sure. I think they're both slacking off and creating too much work, because deaths are on the rise and it's all at an all new high. But either way, you want to put your minions into place, in their place. As a roguelite, it has the random elements you usually see, such as random levels, weapons, spells, and such. The weapons and spells do occur randomly in the different levels that you progress through, and they're all random, just like in many other roguelite games. Works quite well, though I kind of wish that there was more random health drops. The enemy can drop health things that give you instant health, or they can also drop amina or anima, some of those two. And these are sort of health globes that work like health potions. You can store them and you can use them in different when you need to. They only heal, or as I understand it, the weaker ones, the blue ones, only heal injuries, which is the grayed out part of your health bar at the top. So it can't heal you to full health unless you have health injuries to full health. They don't heal much, like 20 HP or something like that, but it's something. There are also golden ones who are in their higher quality, so they will heal you much more. But both the low blue and the stronger golden one can be quite rare indeed. If you find one at the beginning, you are a very lucky person indeed. Very lucky gamer. Spells and weapons are also of a different quality, and it shows in the damage and I believe possibly the cooldown. But I'll try not to spoil too much about those in this gameplay, as I want you to find them and use them yourself. But I do enjoy the combat, and we're gonna get on to that right now. 2D game, enemies to the left, enemies to the right. and above you, of course. Don't forget those, whatever you do. Be quick and kill them first. In my humble opinion, the flying enemies are a B. You get the rest of the word. You can do different combos by pressing the thumbstick up or down, and X for your basic shite attack, and YMB is for secondary weapons or spells that you find in the levels. It's too bad there's only 3 abilities you can use. The shite, which can be upgraded, as well as the spells and other weapons can also be upgraded. The shite and the spells and weapon upgrades work a little bit different from another, but they both work quite well. Holding down LT and pressing X, Y, or B if you have a weapon or spell equipped in X or in Y and B will unleash your ultimate, because yes, of course you also have a ultimate ability, which is can be very destructive and nice, but depending on what weapon and spell you use, that will change how it works. For example, the basic shite has a large area of effect that will your death will start slicing enemies in all around you. I don't know if it's the full screen, but it's definitely a big part of the screen. If you're using a spear and you're using the ultimate with a spear, you will start stabbing in front of you very quickly and with very high damage. Now this one is very nice against the bosses and such, but you have to make sure that the boss doesn't move when you do, because otherwise you will miss. The hammer has a whirlwind, and different spells have other kinds of ultimate abilities. I love this, that the ultimate is depending on what kind of weapon you're using or spell. I love that it certainly creates a more unique way of using your ability. You really have to think, what kind of ultimate is best for this situation? Well, there are a lot of enemies. I do the shite, area damage, slice them all. It's just a single boss, he's gonna stand here still for a while, I'm gonna use the spear or something like that. I love that. It's a nice detail, and it's nice to see that such a big oh god, I lost the word. Big number of different ults instead of other games where I just have 1 ult or 2 or 3 and you have to unlock them. Here you just need the correct weapon and go on. You also have a dash that works much like other dashes in games. It makes you invulnerable as you dash, and you can be done in the air as well. One other thing, the shite can also be charged if you hold down X, actually. It creates this small area damage around you. Some other weapons I believe can be charged as well, but it hasn't worked for me the times I've tried. It says that charge damage is increased with that weapon, but it might just refer to the shite's ability to charge up. You can also find, while you're running around in a level, you can also encounter this character who will give you curses. And yes, curses sounds bad, but it's in this game it's a good thing. Curses are your passive abilities that you get, like extra health or more damage after getting hit or something like that. It can also give you more mana and so on and so forth. The standard things. So that is a really nice boost, and some of these abilities or curses can come with a penalty. The penalty is a negative thing, but these penalty things, as I've encountered them, have been very weak and just not really mattered, because the penalty has been like, this enemy does more fire damage or breathes more, has more health or anything, something like that. The problem is that that enemy is from the previous area, the previous area with the first boss, and I'm now on the second area with the second boss. So that doesn't really matter to me then. And it's also weird that it's not locked to the level that I'm in, because you would think that if the penalty is in the second area, second environment, then the penalty should matter there as well, but it doesn't. Anyway, let's move on. All in all, combat is great. Nothing to really complain about. I had some, I would say, hitbox, not issues, but hitbox questions where I'm getting hit, but I can't see how. But like for example, the big ghosts you can encounter early, they're quite tanky, and they do this upward swing, and they can hit you on platforms that are just above their hand. Well, at least that I can see. It takes a few runs to get into all this, but it's great when you dash around, jump, slice, and do spells and really clear a room, especially without getting hit or damaged. And the controls are very tight and very well fit for a controller, I think. I guess this is where the only 3 abilities comes in, where X, Y, and B is the easiest way to have that. Let's get into the beautiful art style that you can really see here in the gameplay. The art style is supposedly hand-drawn, according to the developers, and I love it. It's really nice and looks very, very good. And of course, in the art style you can also certainly see the humor. The animations are also very nice with this art style. It just looks great all around. Nothing bad to say about it. I mean, it's nice environments, the backgrounds in the environments are nice, characters are very nicely drawn and crafted. Combat animations are beautiful. The shite, the other weapons, the spells. Yeah, nothing. And the effects from spells, the fire, lightning, all of that. Really, really good. I mean, I'm kind of shocked at how nice it actually looks. I mean, I have no problem with indie developers, but this is top notch. Top notch. I'm really impressed. I'm looking forward to see more updates come to this game, very much. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is something that I have talked about in previous roguelite videos. The mechanic about improving your character after death. I mean, roguelite, you will die at some point. And when you do, you will want to improve your character, improve your run, not just through getting better at the game, but also improving your character's maybe health, stamina, or whatever it might be. This one is a little bit different in that one. Excuse me. After a run, you get points. These points fill up a meter. It's kind of a level up meter. And depending on how well you do, you get different amounts of gold bars. The gold bars are a currency that you use in a store. These gold drops can also drop in a run or during a run in small amount, like 5-6 of them. And with these gold bars you can unlock new weapons and spells in a shop that you can access before the beginning of a round. You die, run along, and then you get to a character that you can talk to, and you can actually unlock new spells and weapons. And when I say unlock, you don't unlock these as you can start with, but you unlock them as a chance to get them during a run. For example, you can unlock a knife, a rapier, probably a hammer somewhere in there. These are quite, I don't know, it feels nice to have something unlocked, but it kind of feels very sparse with it. You can also unlock food, which is something completely different and is only, I would say the food is only available during when you completed level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4 between the levels, because then you get to a coffee room or something. There you can actually get something out of the freezer or refrigerator. I'm guessing that's where the food comes in. Anyway, sorry, rambling. God. Okay. Yeah, you can get these items, the weapons and spells and food, cheaper by completing different objectives, killing a certain amount of enemies for that weapon, killing a boss 3 times for that spell, and so on and so forth. This, I like that because it gives you something to strive for each run, because maybe I don't want to go to that floor because that's where that is, but maybe you think, but that's a mini boss and I want to kill that mini boss so that I can kill him this many times so I can buy that thing cheaper. That is a nice incentive to actually go through some of the different rooms. The problem is there isn't enough weapons or spells in the game or in that list to keep me occupied for too long, really, because partially some of those are kill this type of enemy, and that type of enemy is maybe in the 3rd or 4th or even maybe the 5th kind of environment, level, stage, whatever you want to call it. And I haven't gotten that very far. I have gotten to 3 and I've completed a very tiny piece of that quite quickly on that one. So that, it's not a major issue, it's just a small complaint that I have, but of course they can't fill the game with thousands and thousands of weapons and spells. That would make them, or make many of them much like each other and make them quite boring and just one-sided. And I mean, have you tried one, you have tried all the other ones, so I do say that that is a good thing to have it limited, even though I think it's just a tad too small. But it's simple and straightforward, and discount gives you objectives as well, so yeah, can't really complain too much. One thing I don't think about permanent death and upgrades, or permanent upgrades, sorry. There is no increasing stats like health, damage, crit damage, and mana, so on, which I think is a bit too bad. Now, you could argue that the health is already at a good level when you start, but this could be, well, I would say, make the starting health lower, maybe? I don't know, but it feels like we're missing out when we're not using gold bars for health, damage and crit and such. But it's still early access, so we might see something like that in the future, or we might not. I'm looking forward to the updates anyway, because I'm loving this game already, and I'm looking very much forward to everything there is to come, everything that there is to come about in it, for it. God. I've been Swippy92, have a great life, and I hope to see you in future videos. Bye bye. Oh god, I need to rehearse. Did I say that correctly? Rehearse, reverse, no, not reverse. Rehearse my script. Like I'm gonna follow a script. Can't even follow my script.